This is why I think you should join my class, especially if you're working in the health sector. And the reason is to make sure that you are guided as to how to make your work easy. The health sector, one of the things you do all the time is how to convert units, converting from one unit to the other. This can be very frustrating if you have to use your calculator, do this and this. You get mistakes all over. Learn how to create your own functions. Let me give an example. For instance, so I am here, and then let's say these are all calculators that I have. So let me do it this way. I'm coming to this point and give it a full. So now when I come to this point, or maybe let me leave it this way, take out the grid lines so that you can see what I'm talking about. And so I'm just going to come here and leave it again. Now, when we come here, this is BMI calculations, right? So if I have my calculator already, if this person, let's say, is 68 degrees, 68 kilogram and 3 meters, let's see. Oh, the person is underweight. But what about if the person is 1 meter tall? So the person is obese. So you can see it changes to obese. And then that is it. So what about if the person is 2? Oh, the person is underweight. Okay, let's check 1.5. If the person is 1.5, that's obese too as well. So what about if the person is actually 75 kilogram and then he's actually 1.5 meters tall? Oh, the person is still obese. But I'm sure if that is 2, the person will have healthy weight. So these calculators, you can just put them, you can just create them and then they'll be there. Now, there are the other ones I have seen is how to convert from years to months. Years to months. We know that 12 months make 1 year, and then 1 year is equal to 12 months. But the problem comes, so if I have 1 year, I know it is 12 months. But what about if I have 1.2 years? How many months would that be? It becomes a problem. And that's why when you pick health data, sometimes you find it very difficult. You have to do a whole lot of data. You have to report these figures from your facility for whatsoever to your own. Move to next sheet. And let's say, so I have here, this is the weight, and then this is the height, the months, and then the years, and then Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, all of these things. In some health facility, they will ask you to report it in a particular format. So let's start with the weight and then the height. Let's assume that you are a nurse and you needed to report. So I'm not going to give it myself always a ribbon so that I can do the calculations. And then I'll come to this point and say, okay, a BMI column here. So I'll simply come to my home tab, then go to insert, and then this place is going to be my BMI. Weight divided by height square. No, I've already got a function I've created for myself, which is called BMI calculation. So I'll simply just say here, BMI calculation. I've already created this function myself. So if I tap on that, it's going to ask me of the weight. And here is my weight. And then, comma, it will ask me of my height, HT. Then I'll say this is my height. Then I'll close it and then tap enter. It calculates the BMI for me. And that gives me 11.11. So I'll double click on this and it will fill the rest. Simple. Now, let's assume that my boss doesn't want the data this way. He wants me to interpret it, whether the person is obese or the person is underweight or whatsoever. I've already also created my calculator that can do that for me. All right. So what's the next thing? I'm going to create another column here, and I'll call that one weight determination. So I'll just say weight underscore determination. Don't worry. Weight determination. So I'll just put it a very short one. Weight determination. So when I come here, I simply have already created a function called weight determination. So you can see it here. So and it's going to ask me of the BMI. I've already calculated BMI, which is here. I'll just now click on that. Okay. And then it tells me that the person is underweight for here. So let's double click and then see what will happen. Then it's going to, and then widen this up. You see that some places healthy weight, underweight, obese, and then in that order. Simple. Now, let's see that, okay, the data came to your desk as months, but your boss said, oh no, I want to see it in years. So 12 months, 35 months, and then all of that. How are you going to convert it? So I'm going to insert, what is it? So I'm converting it to what? To years. So that will be my new unit to years. And then I'll come here, just say comma, sorry, equal sign. And then we are converting from months to years. So I've already got a function called months to years, which is here. So use your tab key, and then it will ask you of the months. So just click on this point, close it up, enter, and it will tell you that for the 12, that will be 1 year. Now let's look for the rest. For the 35 months, that will be 2.91 years, then in that order. Now, what about if it were in years and they said, no, bring it in months? Okay, so this time round to months. So my function, my variable name will be 2 months. And then I'm going to come here again and say, I've already got that particular function which is seated on my table. Then I'm simply saying I'm converting to months. So this is years to month. So years to month function is already here. These are all inbuilt functions. So it's going to ask me of the year. Yes, you can see Y in brackets. So this is the year. Then you close it up and tap enter. And then you now have it in years. Sorry, in months. So if it is 4 months, 66, 4.66 years, then that will be 55.88 months, then in that order. Now, maybe the gadget you are using in your office is actually, it came from America, and Americans, they measure their temperatures in Fahrenheit, degree Fahrenheit, but you need to report it in degrees Celsius. So I'm going to name that variable to underscore degrees Celsius. So I'm converting from Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. So I've already created that function called Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius, which is here. So use your tab key, IntelliSense to, so it will ask you of the Fahrenheit. So this is my Fahrenheit. Now close it up, tap enter. So it means if the Fahrenheit is 110.8.18 degrees Fahrenheit, it will be 43.43 degrees Celsius. And that's it. And then we can check the rest, and then in that order. What about if it was in degrees Celsius and you needed it in Fahrenheit? So our variable will be 2 underscore Fahrenheit. And then, so we come to this point, you've already created your function. So here we are converting from degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. So our function is degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, which I have already created that function seated around here. So it's going to ask you of degrees Celsius, which is C. So, and then I'll just click on the degrees Celsius, close it up, and tap enter. It will calculate it for me. Come here and double click. And then everything is done. So here, if I now want to remove all these decimals, I want to change it to a specific decimal place, I'm just going to highlight the whole of this, come to my number column, and come here and say I want everything in 2 decimal places, or yeah, 1 decimal place, and that's all. Now, I have my data now well properly set. I can simply report it. Now I think it was left with this one. I also need to put that one in the proper decimal places, maybe 1 decimal place, and then that is it. And so maybe I should highlight again and centralize everything, and then maybe come and highlight this particular column and make it this way. And so the data now looks fine. Maybe is overweight, and maybe identity over here, personal identity over here. You may not have the name, and then in that order. So this is the easiest way to be able to report your case. And here we can now count. We can now say that I can simply now just come here, run this way, and come and say, okay, insert. So we are going to insert. So check. So how many are healthy weight? How many are obese? And how many are underweight? So you can see it's a very important, easy way to be able to report my data. So you see where we have moved up to where we are now, and then in that order. So this is where we are now. We can simply now make sense from any of this. If we come here, we can actually look for the maximum. We're saying that, oh, okay, we can look for the maximum, we can look for averages and all of that. And this becomes a very good report. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested, I'm just a click away. Join the class and I will take you through the basics up to the advanced level of Excel analysis, where we'll be looking at different data sets from different organizations and how to plug them together, and then use relational tables to be able to work from our decks from different places, and where we'll be able to generate powerful dashboards, either using Power BI or pivot tables, and then all of that. And then optimization. Optimization. If you are running a hospital and then you realize that, okay, we cannot afford not to buy this medicine. But when we also buy, we're going to run into a cost, minimize cost. Which part are we going to maximize so that revenue can come more? That's optimization. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it here, and then I'll bring another video for your consumption. Thank you. If you are interested, you can just comment, and then I'll pick you up there, and then you join the rest. We are starting this Friday. Bye-bye.